day, another dollar. Just out here doing the job. Just hanging out in a substation, doing substation stuff. So they built this big nuke plant back in the late 70s, brought it online for, I want to say, about a decade or so. And then, you know, environmental concerns and this and that shut her down. And the bummer is that you've got this massive tie-in here. It was ready to handle like 20 gigawatts or something like that. But it's just not making the 20 gigawatts. So then you surround this thing with solar power, and that gets you, you know, a couple hundred megawatts, but you're not anywhere close to the kind of power that this substation can handle. And they'll wrap this thing up with solar, and, you know, at some point they'll have to decommission these things and knock them down or whatever. But until then, they'll just sit here as reminders of attempts that we made in the past to get power into California. I have pretty severe ADHD and a high creative intelligence, and I smoke a shit ton of weed. So I'm just like this swirling fucking toilet of ideas and inspiration and laziness, you know, creeping in. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. What you kind of have to do, like I tell any young person that'll listen to me, is a lot of times you have to metaphorically bite down on the leather through the pain. And in my regards, the pain is just the lack of like inception, the lack of coming down, the lack of initiation on my own part. I tend to spin my wheels, that I've ran it through my head numerous times. Like, I feel like I do so much process improvement in my head before I even get to the process that sometimes I get frozen in that analysis paralysis. That's a huge part, I think, of having adult ADHD. I've done well a few times, and I've done horribly a few times. I've made bad decisions and excellent decisions, and, you know, I've had to bear the weight of all of that. And, you know, my inspiration shifts from topic to topic so readily and easily that it is distracting. And, you know, at home, what ends up happening is I get these waxing and waning moons and tides of inspiration and or laziness. So yeah, I yearn for the day that I have kind of a settled dopamine balance, and that I'm not constantly shifting from one inspiration to the next. Now I want to go back to the house, and in my mind, I'd like to smoke something, and then I'd like to do some music, and then I'd like to start tearing down Lillian's cylinder head, or at least get the valve covers off and start breaking some head bolts apart. I'd love to be as good at executing those plans as I am at planning. And I'm tooting my own horn a little bit here, but you kind of have to sometimes. You have to kind of understand who you are. You kind of got to constantly be reminding yourself that you have value, with my own ego, you know, in check and in place. Not just in check, but in a good place. It's kind of like the day-to-day challenges of a human such as myself, constantly desiring execution of like sick planning, but most of the time I'm kind of in this freestyle triage effort to play whack-a-mole with my dopamine. And that's it in a nutshell. So each of these episodes, you're like watching me struggle with, you know, the incipient stages of a task, the executive functions of the task, the inspiration, the challenges, all that. It's not just like, oh, here's a guy who's got some tools and he works on cards. No, we're working on ourselves and our own ability to get through those challenges of like, oh, I think I'm ready. I bought everything I could. Look at those tank swapped out. The lines are going to get swapped out. The hard lines will get blown out. All the fittings will get replaced. So we'll have a whole new fuel system all the way up to the carburetor. I shouldn't have to deal with basically clogging jets and sticking floats. We'll go through another basic round of commissioning on the new brawler carburetor I got, and then we'll finally probably get under the interior. All that comes after the Honda. See what I mean? I can get so caught up in like, oh yeah, and then the Chevy's gonna be a freaking unicorn, all kinds of shit that I have never done, and I'm just like, man, I can't wait to put that seat cover on the Chevy. Sometimes these videos is just me talking to myself. It's a human channel, and it's about a guy that has some passion, with a lot of passion behind, you know, my intellectual curiosity to like bring forth the information I need. I can tell you a lot about the D17A1 non-VTEC engine on a Honda Civic from 2001 to 2004. I can tell you a lot about small block Chevys, which is probably a good thing to know. And I could tell you some things about diesel engines, especially older ones. This was supposed to be a joke clip, and here I am already in like a minute into just another Babylon.
The crazy part is I didn't get much done when I got home, except for making an instructional step-by-step list of how to do the cylinder head. I then remade that list by hand, and then I abandoned both of those lists just to ask ChatGPT. I've got the instructions here. You can see we got 45 minutes of prep time. It just means getting, basically setting the car up, disconnecting the battery terminal, draining the coolant, allowing the engine to cool down. That's already going to do that. Removing the components, which means removing the valve cover, the timing belt cover, disconnecting the intake and exhaust manifolds, removing other components. This is good. I had some better ones here. Detailed instructions. Gives me the tool list. Tells me to
Start the car. Of course, I'm going to jack it off. I'm going to take the wheels off and take those. I'm going to drain the coolant, gives me the capacity. It's about a gallon and a half, a little over a gallon and a half. Take the drive belt, timing belt cover, valve cover, intake and exhaust manifolds, power steering, accessory. We'll pick up the fuel rail and peel the harnesses back. We should be able to get at the cylinder head at that point. We need to make sure to remove the bolts. The correct sequence to configure state 4159. So effectively, if we had 10, it'd be like A 4, 5, 9, or something like that. Lift the old cylinder off, discard the old gaskets, get the main surfaces cleaned up. I can't forget the dowel pins. I gotta get those out of the block. So if I'm not sure, I'm going to confirm on these torque values. I think it's actually, I had them written down. It's like 16, 30, 49. But this is like probably closer to 60. Now I am using ARP heads. They could probably take 55 foot-pounds, which will be close. Once I get all that head on, I'm going back down to the timing belt. I'm going to be taking a new tensioner. Yeah, as you can see, we're all set up in here. The Honda's actually pretty cleaned up. The first thing we'll have to do is disconnect the battery. I don't think I'll take it out. Maybe I will. Doesn't seem to be in the way of anything. We are taking the cylinder head out here. So I've got some coolant stuff here that's got to be disconnected. It doesn't look like the end of the world. But that's exactly what we're after, is this bit here. Be taking the header off, disconnecting that. Throttle body, intake manifold, new IACV. There's all kinds of new stuff on here. But yeah, we're going to get into it. I'll take the power steering off. I'll have to get, I believe, these motor mounts somehow got to get played with. And I got a little bit of room to lay this stuff out. I've got the tools and stuff up here. Cylinder head still on the ground. Here's my head gasket. I've got valve cover gaskets and stuff up there. I've got all that stuff. We already went over this. I keep talking about it because I don't want to do it. It's not even that cold out here. I could probably start breaking this stuff apart now. What other excuse can I come up with? And what's important to me is that I learn it like 60 times ride it out 44 more times, and I'll probably watch a video here in a second on what's next too. So this is my first attempt at making my own list. But you can see I had too many reference points. The handwriting changed too many times. I wasn't happy with the pen tip. So then I rewrote it all on a much finer tip. You can see everything was nice and, you know, autistic through here. And then here at the end, I just kind of got a little bipolar. But this is a pretty good list. It does reference everything here, condensed it a little bit. I'll probably work off of this and the list that I downloaded from ChatGPT to my Gmail. So this is the kind of stuff I gotta do, like over and over and over and over again until I develop enough internal confidence that I can take this on. And I think I'm right there at the edge where the next clip, unless it's me rambling some more, because we're probably at minute 8 or 9 on this video, I haven't even broke out the tools yet, we should be getting into it. Stand by. At the morning coffee joint here, the old coffee trough. Out here at Four Corners, getting me a large mocha. Gives you an idea how big some of those are, huh? And this is like one zone of 7 for this particular power plant. Hey, just doing a little walkabout again, doing some amp clamping, make sure all these combiner boxes are running. Yeah. So I think I've wasted enough time talking to the camera, and I've wasted enough time trying to be funny and trying to explain who I am. But I think after I get home tonight, we got to get into it. We just got to stop. Right now I'm listening to No Scrubs by TLC, and that last little shimmy right there was me dancing to it, but I realized I can't even play this for YouTube because I'll get some copyright strike and they'll do something. I don't even know what that is, but imagine TLC Scrubs playing just a second ago and me breaking it down and, well, it's still playing. Hey guys. Where's the boys? You got the boys over here. Come here, buddy. That guy on the left over there is cool looking. They got cool faces. You don't have to be... Oh, they're getting spooked. Is it a predator? I'm not trying to spook y'all. Hey, just real quick, I got that fuel pressure in line there. I might need to tighten it up a little bit more. Yeah, these guys are out of Anaheim. I just like the... Looks good in there. Alright, I know there's a few initial steps that I can do with the car. I need to get it jacked up and drain the coolant and stuff, but the first thing I need to do is disconnect the battery. know what I was thinking there doing that. But I definitely got to get this car jacked up, get the wheels off, get the new drain pan underneath it. That's why I don't have my damn instructions out here. Can't ever do anything right. Can't get right. Let's go do this. Now we can check that and see that's also dry. A little bit of fuel, that's from the overflow. Alright, I got a different gauge in here. It's a lower scale. The other one was high. I'm hoping that I'm right now, so let's see if this thing pumps. Oh, I've got to cut that off. We'll just give it a shot. Review that. Okay, so it does say, we got some instructions here. Install the gauge so the nipple plug's facing up. Once installed, cut the nipple. It allows the case to be vented at all times, ensuring an accurate reading without additional venting or cooling. Yeah, so I'm going to cut it and then I'm going to get another little just vented some oil there. That's okay. Babe. So let's give this a shot. We'll see what happens. To get popped off, but oh yeah, it was leaking. Next video's got to be the most chaotic ADHD mechanic style video I put together. I don't know even how much room I've got on here, but we're gonna look and see where we're at. Let's do that. Well, looks like me. Yeah, I can just tell my spirit is not in it. So we're gonna wrap this video, y'all, and what we'll do is we'll try to be a little bit more honest with ourselves on the next go round. We do have a lot of work to do. I've got to get this down to the cylinder head. I've got the cylinder head sitting behind us here, and I've got some other stuff on the table here that kind of go in conjunction with that. I've got the water pump, time belt kit, new tensioner. I've got a valve cover gasket. I've got the head gasket up there. I've got some dumb shit in here too that also deals with this, but for the most part, we're gonna wrap it up here. I've had this video in key for weeks and weeks. I just kind of slowed down my production because, well, the winter came on, and I got an old injury that's been bugging me. But enough about that. Doing this next time, I'm gonna try to kind of keep a better pace going here with these videos now that I've got this in here. Part of the project that we're gonna do is we're gonna take these wheels off, get them cleaned up a little bit better, and then we'll paint them before we put them back on. While I have them off, I'm going to go ahead and set all of the coilovers to just kind of a fixed height, roughly around where they're at. I'll get them all kind of like it's a little bit heavier on the driver's side, so there's some augmenting I might have to do there. Anyways, I don't know what you guys like about what it is that I'm doing here. I don't know if it's just kind of being honest about what I know and what I don't know. We're trying to do everything we can, including things that we can learn. So that's why some of this takes a long time, because I have to not only learn to do what it is I'm doing, I got to build the confidence up. That's one of the biggest problems with Willys Honda is I know exactly what to do, and I just got to do it. But it's more than I've done on an engine in my life. I must have watched thousands of hours, you know, of people doing the job that I'm about to try to do, and I keep doing everything but that. But now I have everything I need, and I appreciate y'all hanging in there and waiting to see if this is going to finish. Anybody that subscribed that was waiting for this playlist here to kind of come to wraps, I appreciate you waiting. We have a lot of things in the key in terms of things to do. We've done a lot of rearranging and kind of sorting ourselves out in here. But yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. So far, I've got the coils out. I've got the ignition coils out. We've got part of the harness disconnected. Last move is on this end. I need to disconnect the alternator. That will bring this back. I've got some bracketry, some other things, but I don't want to get into that too much because ultimately I'm going to have to get this wheel off, break this engine mount loose so that I can partially lift the engine to get it turned over to top dead center when I go to retime the block with the cylinder head itself and the cam. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyways, again, thanks again. Like and subscribe, do all the stuff that makes the algorithm say, hey!